Hello everybody, I apologize for the delay. I got to run in my mouth on the phone with a dear friend and I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta go. And you know, the weather's not the greatest tonight in the Kansas City area, so this is not gonna be a long, drawn out live, but it's gonna be fun though. So what I'm doing tonight is I've got some cast iron ramen coming up. So what did I do? Did I make this ramen from scratch? Did I do any of this stuff? Now this is about a half a tablespoon of toasted sesame street oil. And I'm so proud of myself because I've been calling it sesame street oil just because my inner 5-year-old just was wanting to do that. And I'm gonna do a tablespoon of lemon juice here. Again, we're just gonna, for the flavor, just a little bit for the flavor here. And what I did was earlier today, I actually cooked this up. Now this is instant ramen, so I want to be very clear. I want to keep it real with y'all. This is instant ramen, and what I did was I took some hot water and I poured it in there like boiling water, and it wasn't quite boiling enough. So I had to take it out of the package, put it in a bowl. It was a lot. So what I did was, because this is like a chicken ramen that came with like little flakes of carrots and little flakes and things. So what I did is I took some broccoli florets and I kind of broke them apart. So they're like little, like bigger pieces here. I also had some garlic, and then I've got some carrot chunks from like the last carrot that I had. And then I also put in a tablespoon of 5 spice, the 5 Chinese spice. Then I also have like a teaspoon of ginger. I just kind of wanted to kind of move it around. I did use a little bit of the toasted sesame seed oil, I said it again, sesame seed oil, and then a little bit, probably like a teaspoon of lemon juice. I just kind of wanted it to marinate in there a little bit. So I've got it in this right here. I think it's hot enough. I'm not going to add any additional spices to this because this already has a lot of spice to it. So I don't want to overdo it. Sometimes, as I am someone who likes to season, sometimes I have been accused of, hang on, actually I'm gonna move this over here because apparently I did not turn on the other burner. So we're gonna just do it over here. That's fine, you can kind of still see what I'm doing over here. But yeah, so I've got this in here because I kind of want it to have a little bit of a crunch. Now you gotta pay attention here. This is not the time to walk off, no pun intended. And I was gonna use a wok, but then I thought about it, and I didn't really want to put a lot of oil. I didn't want to do all of that. I didn't want to prep the wok, I'll be honest with you. I was like, you know what? Let's just keep it very, 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 very simple. And so that's what I'm doing. Now, if I were super hungry tonight, what I would do is I would also do pot stickers with this, but I'm not gonna do that. Actually, I'm gonna move this up a little bit closer so you can kind of get a better view of it. I'm like, oh wow, I can see it on camera, but I can't really see it on camera. So here we go. Let's get a little closer with this. So one of the reasons why I like to do this in a skillet, now I don't always do this in a skillet, okay? But one of the reasons why I like to is when I'm kind of feeling like I want something hearty, I want to feel like a savory vibe, but I don't want it to be like completely burnt or anything like that. That's why I'm actively kind of paying attention and watching it here. But this is perfect. This is like perfect for like a rainy day, kind of a chilly rainy day. Now if you're somebody that you don't want them to dry out, you want like a little bit more, you could add, like I could take a little bit of this and I could add like a teaspoon of this broth, this chicken broth here. If I wanted to, I'll just go ahead and show you doing that. So that way, but you don't have to do all of it if you don't want to. If you're not really into that, you don't have to do that. So that's what we're doing right now, just kind of wanting to make sure we get all of this in here. Okay. And this is some more unsalted chicken broth. I'm just gonna, again, just do another tablespoon, and that's it. I'm gonna go ahead and put this away. But that's just kind of like, I want a little bit more of a chicken flavor, because sometimes with the instant, like you kind of get like a little hint of a flavor, but it's not a lot. So I'm just kind of adding some extra things. Now, if I was feeling super extra, what I would do is I would add in some chicken in here, like, some baked chicken that I seasoned, like a little ginger chicken in here. I wouldn't use a breaded one. I don't really like to use breaded things with ramen. I don't know why that is. But I'd probably do like a grilled, like ginger chicken or something like that. And maybe like a little bit of lemon in there too. So yeah, that's definitely what I would do. And then also, I'm gonna add this here, and I'm keeping it at, I don't want it to be like, I don't want it to fry really hard or anything like that. So I'm keeping it at like maybe like low, kind of a lower mid, like on the higher side of low. I guess it's the best way to kind of describe that. But yeah, if I were really hungry, I'd add some pot stickers here or some wontons, you know, something like that. Or even like some spring rolls or some egg rolls, something like that. That's like what I would add. Or maybe even like a little bit of ginger salad or like some kind of like ginger slaw. I would probably add that to the mix as well if I was really hungry. But, you know, I'm not super hungry and I've already technically eaten. So this is kind of like something that I'm going to be preparing for like my lunch tomorrow. So I'll probably do like a little half of this for lunch tomorrow, and I might, you know, finish it off at dinner, or I might just kind of do 2 days, kind of 2 days in a row, add it to something. So that's kind of like, you know, now while I don't like breaded chicken in the ramen, I know it's going to sound silly. I can have breaded chicken with the ramen as long as it's separate. See who's, hey, what's up, Thomas? Minnesota in the house. I was just thinking about I was thinking about doing a hot dish, but like not using the mushroom soup because I can't do the soup, but using like an unsalted vegetable broth, and then using some sauteed mushrooms in there as well and baking it in that way, and then probably cooking the tater tots like separately, and then at like halfway, and then adding them in. So instead of like, let's say it takes 25 minutes for the tater tots, I would cook the tater tots for 15 minutes and then add them in, you know, like, and then let them cook in the rest of the way. That way it's not too, like, it doesn't get too weird and mushy. I have a thing about that. That's probably why when I lived in Minnesota, I was more, because, you know, I was technically raised in the Kansas area, I was more of a casserole person, because as soon as I saw the canned cream of mushroom thing go down, I was like, it was good, but I have texture things going on, so I'd have to close my eyes and just like eat it because it tasted good, but it was like just like the weird kind of like watching it. I just was not like a huge fan of that. So maybe I was like, maybe I could do like some kind of hybrid like casserole hot dish thing. Of course, I would let people know that it is not authentic Minnesota casserole, like hot dish, because I don't want people coming after me, because I'm going to tell you something. Minnesotans, they're nice and they, you know, they're very polite and very reserved, but if you mess up their recipes, they will act a fool, and you do not want any of that smoke. As someone who has, you know, put my own spin on things, and then I would serve it and people would be like, this is good, but this is not hot dish, or this is good, but this is not, you know, whatever. So again, they will let you know, okay? But I guess technically I was born there, I just wasn't raised there. So I always feel nervous when I say, well, I'm a Minnesotan, because I did come back and live there for 6 years. But, you know, to the diehard Minnesotans are like, no, that doesn't count. Just because you have the accent, honey, doesn't mean, you know, that you're true blue Minnesotan. So maybe I could just say that I'm Minnesota adjacent and very proud. Okay, there we go. Now, okay, look, speaking of proud, you know what I'm proud of? I'm proud of this. So now this is really kind of smoking here. Okay, we're getting some action here. Okay, moving this around. Now I made these carrot chunks very, what do you think about using AI to generate a recipe? I found it gives me ideas when I have random ingredients and don't know what to use them for. I have mixed feelings about that, because I feel like AI is really good. It's like super, to me, AI is like super helpful. Like, oh my gosh, you know, oh my gosh, like I've got all these ideas. Like I never thought of using sumac in that way, right? Or I never thought that lemon pepper could really pop. So it gives you ideas, but I don't know about the instructions. Like I've heard things about using AI recipes. Sometimes the instructions aren't like what they should be, and it would take an experienced cook to know that. So again, you know, if you're an experienced cook and you want to use AI, okay, fine, but I probably wouldn't do it if I were cooking something for the first time, because what does Aunt Leanie not do? I don't experiment when it comes to like events and whatever, unless it's a party where everyone's like, oh, bring a new recipe that you're trying for the first time. Other than that, we do not experiment, okay? We don't do that, okay? Okay, so now it looks like I've kind of got like a nice little, okay, I still got my fall mitt right there. Hey, it still works. Okay, so this is what we got going on, and I'll take a picture of the skillet so you can kind of see what's going on. But yeah, again, and I also added some yellow peppers in here. And I really feel like with ramen, you can just add, now it doesn't always work here, but I experiment myself. But yeah, like with ramen, you know, everybody has different tastes and whatever. Part of me wanted to saute the carrots because they are like not, you know, they're not sauteed. Like I put them in fresh, saute them a little bit before I put them into the ramen. But I was like, no, you know what? Sometimes part of the ramen experience is having the fresh kind of vegetables in there to kind of give it a crunch. Okay. I should eat before watching your videos. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a little bit of here, and I'm going to try this right like this, just like a little bit. Just a little bit. And listen, I'm going to give you a strong reaction. Like I'll give you a very sincere reaction. If it's not good or I need to do something more, I will let y'all know. Okay, here we go. This is really good. You can really kind of taste the ginger. And the Chinese five spice. Oh my gosh, this would be so good. Or it'd be so fire with some pot stickers. Okay. We're going to go ahead and turn this off. And I think that the chicken broth gave it an extra kind of chicken dimension. So that's good. Now, I did put my fork back in here, but I'm not going to be serving this to anybody but myself. I just want to let y'all know that. So yeah, I know this is like a really short one because like, you know, the wind is blowing. I saw like little flashes of lightning. So I'm like, huh, Aunt Lainey probably needs to piece the heck on out. So I'm going to do that. And as always, I will take pictures of this and post them. If you guys want more information about me, you can go to AuntLainey'sKitchen.com. I also have a podcast, Aunt Lainey's Kitchen. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. And Facebook under Aunt Lainey's Kitchen. Thank you guys so much for all the support. And I will talk to you soon. If you're in the Kansas City area or where there's storms, you know, take cover. I hope you have your water and your flashlight ready and all of the things. Oh, it's snowing in Minnesota. Well, you know, don't you know? Of course it's snowing in Minnesota. Okay? Anyways, hopefully it's not one of those scary snows where it's just like that snowfall and it's just like dark and it's like heavy. Aww. Where it's like super heavy, it's like a heavy snowfall, and you feel like you're like, it's like to me, it's kind of like a crazy thriller. I used to read a lot, when I lived in Minnesota, I would listen to a lot of audiobooks and stuff like that, like in the dark. I know, going for punishment. I listen in the dark, and there'd always be like this winter scene, like where the cop is chasing the robber or whatever, and it's like the robber does this like double back thing, then they get into a fight and there's always snow. I mean, it's just like, and it's dark but it's cold and eerie and the wind is howling. It's like a whole thing. So yeah, anyways, that was like super crazy tangent that I went on, but take care everybody, be safe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.